I have a confession to make. Just about 2 days ago, my husband and I had a dance party in the kitchen to that song, and it was a blast. So there's so many great benefits of working together, and that's one of them, dance parties every day. So I am a formerly shy kindergarten teacher by trade. I had just moved. I just got married. I just got my brand new house, and Michigan's economy, Motor City, right? It tanked. Families were moving. I was facing the loss of my job, the job that I love, which, by the way, ever since I was little, I dreamed of doing, and we were paying bills with change. I was afraid. I was afraid we were going to lose everything. So I had to look for extra income, and my search led me to my current company. My current company actually first started in retail, and our founder said, hey, let's find a way that we can leverage today's social economy. And they decided that they were going to actually leave retail and go into network marketing. And they offered myself and my mom, Chris, the opportunity to join with them. And we said yes. Now, because we were first, we had no mentors. We had no trainers in our company. We had no training materials, no scripts. We didn't even have a compensation plan. We didn't know how we were going to get paid. But the one thing we had was belief. We believed so strongly in the opportunity that had come to us and the products that we were promoting. We decided, you know what, we will figure it out and we will forge ahead. Both my mom and myself became seven-figure earners for our company. By the age of 29, I was recognized as our company's first six-figure monthly earner. And we've been able to do incredible things. Although the income is great, that's not the best thing for us. The best thing, truly, is the lives that are changed, not just on our team, but myself and my husband, Phil. We started a foundation for women and children that we are fully funding through our network marketing earnings. So that's life-changing. In fact, we just got back in December from a trip to India where we opened up some orphanages there. And this year, we're committed to open up a 100-child home in India through our network marketing earnings. So we are so excited. So thanks. Now, success didn't always come easy for me. You hear these great stories, right? And you think, man, could I ever do this? I used to be the least highest earner in our company, if ever there was a title. In fact, I recently had coffee with one of my mentors, Leslie. You can see her on the left, and she said, I remember going to eat at an Italian restaurant with you, and Sarah, you were crying over your pasta saying, how will I ever make $3,000 a month doing this? Why $3,000? I needed to make what I was earning teaching in order to feel really good about what was ahead, right? And she said, people see you today and they say, so how did she do it? And she said, I tell them one thing, she was coachable. And you know what? She was right. You know, sometimes when we teach people about qualifying their list and create your list of your top 10 and your dream team, I would caution you not to overqualify people. I wouldn't have made somebody's top 10 list at the time. I was shy. I remember approaching somebody for the very first time, and I'm in a skincare company, so I went to this cosmetics counter, and I thought this is a perfect place to find somebody who'd be interested in skincare. So I walk up to the counter, grab a bottle of skincare, my hands start shaking, my knees start knocking, and for the first time in my life, I saw stars. You really can see stars, just so you know. I have no clue what I said to that person except for I did the network marketing verbal vomit. Anybody else do that? And they look at you like a deer in headlights and they think, I just was not ready for this, right? You go ready to share, they're not ready to hear. And so she just stared at me and I just felt so low. So being the mature person that I was, I got in my car and I called my mom and I cried the whole way home. And I said, do I go back there? She said, don't go back there, get out of there. So pedal to the metal, the whole way home I cried. And I thought, how will I ever be successful in this business of networking if I'm afraid to talk to people? I didn't have a network. All of my friends were young and broke, just like me. But again, I was determined. I wanted to make that $3,000 a month. I was committed. I was hungry. As you're coaching people for who to look for, I would say, who are those people that are hungry? If they told me that I had to do backflips through hula hoops, I was going to do it to get to where I needed to be. I couldn't take on another job. I didn't have extra time. So originally when I started, I did what I was trained to do with my company, right? Beforehand, I was a product educator. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go and get a bunch of customers. And that was really easy for me, and that was something that I felt, I could do naturally. I could talk to people about the products, I had my results, I could share. And it was great because I was earning a few $100 to $1,000 residual income. As people were getting great results, they were ordering over and over again. I was getting paid over and over again for work I did one time. And my mom, who's my sponsor, she loved it because she would get that check match too, right? Now one day my mom says to me, Sarah, this is really, really big. I think we're onto something. And this is a true story. She said, let's not tell anyone about this opportunity and keep it our own little secret. Being the good daughter I was, I said, okay. And I just continued to sell the product. But then I started to come to events like these, and I subscribed to Networking Times. Who in here is subscribed to Networking Times? They did not ask me to plug, but give a shout if you're subscribed. Let me hear ya. All right. Changed my life, and I say that truly. I was going through a bookstore one day, and literally, I'm in the magazine aisle, and it was almost like, like the angels singing. I see Networking Times magazine. I'm like, what is this? And I pick it up and I start reading, and I see stories of Jordan Adler and some of the other top leaders that are there, and I thought, how are these people earning 6 or 7 figure incomes? It's not possible. I don't get it. How do they do it? And I started to read, and I started to research, and I realized they were really focused on building a team and duplication. So I decided I was going to make a little shift from promoting product to power prospecting. And instead of leading with product, I was going to lead with the business and fall back on the product, right? Offer my opportunity, and if they said, not for me, I'd say, no problem. I'd love to get you on your journey to your best skin, right? And I would get them in on the products. When I made that shift, that's when everything changed for me. In about a 60-day period of time, I watched my check go from $3,800 to over $11,000 a month. And I said, okay, this works. So, what is prospecting? Well, I love Webster's dictionary definition. It defines it as looking for gold. Think about how brilliant that is. You're looking for gold. You're sifting and you're sorting through all of those little grains of sand just to find a few pieces of gold. Remember Jordan talking about just takes a few, right? So, think about how that relates to your prospecting. You're going to talk to thousands of people to find those who will join you. And of those who join you, they're going to build at varying paces. Some people will run, some people will jog, some people will walk, some people will sit at the sidelines, and some people enter the witness protection program, right? They buy a kit, you never hear from them again. Now, you guys, I pride myself on being a good teacher. That's what I do. I create really great training platforms for our team and for our company. I've even had people, they quit. You don't hear from them again. It happens to me. It happens to all of us. So I want to share with you a little bit about my numbers so you can see I'm no different from the other leaders you heard from today. We all have different products, different pay plans. I'm no different than you. I had to work through my set of odds until I was successful. So over time, I've been in my business for about 4 years. I have had thousands of conversations, done many, many presentations. I've had over 100 people that I've personally sponsored in my business. Of those, I have 30 that still work at a moderate pace. By moderate, I mean they are still promoting product casually. Of those, I have about 10 leaders that are at the top of the plan direct to me. Of those, 3 people account for over 80% of my income. 3. Pretty amazing, huh? So you might be thinking, okay, what does that mean to me? If I told you you had 4 gold bricks in your own backyard, would you dig until you found them? You bet. You don't know when or where you're going to find your power partners, but you will over time if you continue to just sift and sort. So here's what I want all of you to do. I want you to really take the pressure off while prospecting. We get so, zoned in on how I'm going to talk to this person, how am I going to pitch my opportunity, how am I going to talk about my products. And I say the best thing you can do is go out with the mindset that I'm going to make new friends. And the best advice was given to me because I was so shy. You guys, you would not have even seen me near this stage a few years ago. You'd see me back in the room, and if you came to talk to me, you'd be probably hiding behind my hair. I was shy when I started this business. So how does somebody shy learn how to network? The best advice given to me was almost act like it's an interview and ask someone a lot of questions. You heard Todd talking about that earlier today. Brilliant, right? What do people love to talk about? Themselves. What's the most comfortable thing for them to talk about? Themselves. And it was easy for me, who is not a conversationalist, to ask questions, and it was easy for them to respond about a topic they knew and they loved, right? So I started asking a lot of questions. But on this idea of taking the pressure off, I want you to think of it this way. You're like a waiter or waitress, and you're just pouring a cup of coffee. You're sharing your opportunity and your products with everybody you meet. Now, just like a waiter or waitress, some people say yes to the coffee, right? And some people say no, or not now. Now, when people say no, does the waiter or waitress stop and start crying and have a nervous breakdown? No. What do? They continue to pour, and you know what? They might revisit that table later and ask them, did you change your mind? It's as simple as that. Don't get emotionally caught up in the outcome, because if you do, you're sure to fail. People will say no. People will quit. They will sit on the sidelines. They will enter the witness protection program. It's part of the business, and of course, it's something that we just have to be okay with inside. But if you're willing to share this with everyone you know, I can promise you this, everybody really can plug into your business over time, and that might not sit well with some people, so let me explain. I call it the 3 C's. They could plug into your business, and they could be a customer. They could buy your product or service. They could be, our company calls them a consultant or a distributor. They could join you in the business, change their life, change yours as well. Or they could be a connector. You guys, people, if they know what you do, they can at least give you referrals if you share with them everything you're doing and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And you never know where that would lead to as well. It's your job to share. It's their job to decide. So I wanted to take just a few minutes, and I brought some notes up with me so I wouldn't forget. Ideas of ways that I like to prospect. Would you guys like to hear them? Should I take a few minutes on this? Okay. So first and foremost, I kind of laugh when I get the question, so where do I find people? Hello, we're surrounded by them. The question usually is not where do I find them, what do they really want to know? What do I say, right? They want to feel good with the approach and things like that. So, understand that as you're talking to people. But these are ideas. If somebody says, okay, where do I find people? These are some of the things that I do because I love to prospect in my business now, and I love to share the opportunity with people. The first thing is when I have a new distributor, it's not enough to say to them, okay, create your list. That's a foreign concept for somebody like me that has never even had experience beyond, I had a day in another network marketing company and I quit, that was it. But for somebody like me, you say create a list, I don't know what that is. Talk to me about who should be on my list. Talk to me about what I should go through, my cell phone, my Facebook contacts, my address book, any invitation lists I have, and then talk to me about, okay, tell me who's on your list. Who are some people that are hungry? Who are some people that you think would be coachable and committed? Well-networked people, that could be great because they know a lot of people. Tell me about those people, and then talk to me about the approach. Your company might have a memory jogger list. Don't send them on a treasure hunt for them. Email it to them and say, here's the list. Let's go through this process together. And talk about approaches. Teach your team how to share, and then teach them how to invite them to the next thing to hear more. And revisit that list. Our company just had a convention in Dallas 2 weeks ago. And so I taught my team, you want to revisit everybody on your list. I hope you never scratch anybody off, because now's the perfect time to call them and say, hey, if ever there's a time to take a look at our company or our products, the time is now. Here is why. Always revisit when you've got big things coming up. Next thing, referral rewards. Has anybody ever created a referral program before? Maybe your company has one. Raise your hand. This has paid off big time. And I didn't see a lot of hands go up. So in the process of talking to people, believe it or not, my mom and I both have these great stories. And I have 2 younger sisters, totally not interested. Unbelievable, right? They've got their own journey in life. But I thought, you know what? They know people, and they know our stories. So I sat down with my sisters, and I kind of came up with a program, which now I've developed over time. And I said, I'm going to create a referral reward program for you. If you're willing to share the opportunity and the products with people, and they sign up with me, here's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to give you a free product, and you decide, what you're willing to give. I do it out of my auto ship. Or I'm willing to give a portion of my cash bonus. Here's an email to send out. Here's some ideas and videos to pop up on Facebook. Let me know if anybody's interested. Just connect them to me, and I'm happy to continue the conversation. So my youngest sister, Emily, did that. My middle sister did too, and both have helped me generate quite a few leads that way. But one of my strongest business partners came from my younger sister, Emily. She put a message out on Facebook with a little bit about what I was looking for and said, my sister's looking for people. Connect with me if you're interested in hearing more. The gal Emily, who found that post, it's Emily and Emily, said, I want to meet your sister. And she connected us on Facebook, and she said, what's the next meeting you have going on? And I invited her. She and her husband came. They signed up. They ended up serving on our company's leadership advisory board, promoted to the top of the pay plan, earned over $10,000 in bonuses, and totally changed our lives. Best $50 I ever spent, truly. So be thinking about that. What are you willing to invest back into your business? It's a business, right? Business launch events. So we do not have a party plan company, but I thought, when I was starting this, what is the greatest way to get in front of a lot of people at once? Teachers do not work 8 to 3, at least not new teachers. I was working 7 in the morning till sometimes 9 o'clock at night. So if I thought, okay, I only have an hour to do this on the weeknights, I wanted to get in front of 10 people, right? Not just calling a person at a time. So I would do events at my home, and I would also call my friends and say, hey, my business is expanding in your area. Would you be willing to host an event for me? I'd love to meet your friends. I'll do all the work. I'll even give you a free product as a thank you. Don't I want to get in front of 10 people that, there's some sort of connection there, right? Because they knew people that I knew, and it was much easier to develop a relationship that way, and I got many great leads through doing that. Networking at formal networking groups or at events, professional people, they know how to get and give referrals. It's a great place for you to network your business. How about people who provide you services? Who watches your kids, ladies, who does your hair, your nails, etc. Think about those people. You've been doing business with them for years. Now it's their turn to listen, right? You can approach them. But also people give you services day to day. If I'm going out to eat, or if somebody gives me exceptional service at a store, remember I was that gal working behind the counter, go up and say, thank you for your awesome service today. We're looking for people like you. Exchange information and set a time later to follow up. Social media is awesome, and I generate a lot of leads on Facebook. It is not the only way to build your business. It is a way. It's a tool. It's great for prospecting, but when it comes to presenting and starting your new distributor, that warm relationship, it's really important. So you've got to pick up the phone, and you've got to continue the relationship from there. But I do a lot on Facebook. I do some things on Pinterest and YouTube, so you're welcome to follow me. And I always say, copying is the best form of flattery. Repurpose it for your company, change the messaging up, and just get ideas of what we do. It's been a really awesome tool for me. And then lifestyle marketing. Out and about, talk to people, tell them what you do. You heard enough from Todd, so I don't have to go more into that for you. And think about your customers as well. I've seen so many times it happens where a customer joins somebody else's business as a distributor. Why? The person who brought them on for the product never shared the opportunity. They never knew it existed. Why? Your customers are your best evangelists for the product, but they're getting great results, so wouldn't they want your discount on the products? Wouldn't they want an opportunity to earn them for free? And of course, wouldn't they want an opportunity to earn some extra money on the side? So I'll call people up and say, how are you loving your products? Real positive language, right? How are you loving your products? And I'll talk to them more about, you can get them at my discount and earn some money. I'm sure you're getting compliments, right? I'd love to share with you more about my opportunity. So always make sure at some point in that relationship, you talk to them about your opportunity as well, because somebody will eventually. So earlier you heard me talk about my numbers. Jordan gave a great example, but this is a picture of that event at the Mastermind event, and it was such an awesome opportunity. Imagine, I get invited on stage by one of my mentors with all of these big leaders in the profession, and we're all lined up. And everybody, different products, different pay plan. They were asked this question: how long have you been in your business? 5 to over 20 years, I believe. How many people have you sponsored in your business? 50 to over 150. And how many people does the majority of your income come from? 1, 2, 3, just a few. So the majority of your income will probably be tied to just a few legs too, but you never know what people will do or who they could lead you to. So I want to share with you a great story, an example in my organization, and it's the story of the $50 million woman. I've renamed her, because, and this is not her, by the way, on the screen. The story is actually of a gal that I used to lovingly refer to as Negative Nelly. Not very nice, right? But Negative Nelly was not very nice either. She used to always complain about all of the reasons why the business wasn't going to work for her. She wasn't willing to call people. And man, I was patient, but finally I thought, she's got a circle of people. I've got to figure out a way to get to know them. And so I said, she was threatening to quit. And I said, before you go, would you be willing to just send out an email? I will create it for you to everybody you know, and let's just see if anybody expresses an interest. Now, I'm not advocating that you build a business on just blasting people with emails. This was the last result. We talked about the list. We talked about launching her business. So she says, sure. So I send her the email. She sends it out, and it finds this lovely lady, Susie, on New Year's Eve. Susie's an entrepreneur. She reads the email, and she says, I want to talk to somebody tonight. And it was New Year's Eve. I thought, if she's that excited, I will happily leave my party, and I will talk to her for a few minutes. And I did. What a way to toast to new beginnings, because Susie ended up joining us. Now, right immediately after that, within days, Negative Nelly calls me and says, all this hard work, she pressed the send button, all this hard work, I quit. I only have one person. And I said, if I were you, I would not quit. Susie gets it. And I know she's up to something. I know she's going to build big. And she said, nope, I'm done. Turn in her termination papers, sent them into the company. Susie went on to build one of the strongest, fastest growing, largest legs in our entire company. Just this February was named $1 Million Circle Achiever for our company. Now, imagine if Negative Nelly didn't quit. She could be earning the same thing, right? So I've since renamed her, because if you consider, she's about my age, about 30. If you consider just average growth, conservative investments, what she could be making over time if she didn't quit, I would say that's about a $50 million mistake. Ouch. Ouch. People ask me, by the way, all the time, they say, does she know? Actually, one day Susie saw her in a store and said, I just want to tell you, you changed my life, and told her the whole story. I was like, oh, I don't know if I would have done that. But she was very gracious, and she said, I'm so glad, and I'm so glad that you found, the right thing for your life. So it was a good thing. So I have a story of similar financial loss of my own. And this is my $50 million mistake. You've got to ask yourself, if you're thinking about contacting somebody, what is greater, the risk or the reward? This beautiful blonde, she's on the right-hand side with me and my mom. Her name is Stacy, out of Chicago. Stacy actually is the one who in a roundabout way got me involved in my business, because she got me involved freelancing for skincare and cosmetics companies. I thought of her so many times, and so did my mom, and I talked myself out of calling her. Why? She was successful. Why? I didn't have a story yet. Why? All the stories I was telling myself. If you think someone is great, someone else does too. And someone will contact them. Why not now, and why not you? Well, in this case, Rose, out of Chicago, called Stacy. She used a brilliant approach, which if you want to write it down, you can. It was a referral-based approach. She called Stacy up and basically said, hey, Stacy, I'm building a business in Chicago. I know you've built an incredible network there. I would love to share with you what I'm doing, to get some ideas, and see if you know anybody who would be interested in doing what I do. Can we meet up? So she built on her credibility. My business is building here too. Would love to get your ideas, see who you know. And they meet up. And Rose told Stacy all about her opportunity. Stacy actually had a list of hundreds of names of freelancers that she was going to give to Rose's leads. And when she heard the opportunity, she took them back and said, wait a minute, I might be interested in this. And she came to the next meeting. Guess who was hosting the meeting that night? Yours truly. And in walks the beautiful Stacy Roney. My chin, my jaw, and my stomach hit the floor. She joined us that night. She became the #1 recruiter in our company that year, and this month just qualified for her free company car. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now, it's a true story, and I have no doubt in my mind that she will be a $1 million achiever too. I guess you can call it my $50 million mistake, and tonight I have proof because Rose and Stacy are here, so give them a shout. So I am thrilled for Stacy and Rose. But how many people know I only have to learn that mistake once? Now if somebody comes to mind, I pick up the phone and I call them, what is greater, the risk or the reward? The worst thing they're going to do is say, no, you're not going to die. I have yet to die doing this. Your wildest dreams come true. They join you. It changes their life, your life, and thousands of others too. Call these people immediately. Have a professional sense of urgency. Someone will call you. It's the braver of the two. And again, remember, whatever you do, do not quit. So, what is the cure to everything that ails you in this business? If you are not at where you want to be, you need to write this down. Personal activity is the cure to what ails you. You cannot motivate the unmotivated. So if you're mad at your team, stop being mad at your team. If they're at the same volume month after month and year after year, they've showed you the pace that they're willing to work. Honor that, respect that, and understand some people are overjoyed to have just a little extra money to pay for daycare, a little extra money to go out to dinner. I had a guy who joined me and said, I want to make $50 a month extra to take my wife to a nice dinner. I don't want any responsibility above that. What is the point of me pushing him? That's silly. The cure to what ails you, to get to where you want to be, to get to the title, to get to the checks, is personal activity. If it's to be, it's up to me, but my team gets all the credit. So what is a good goal? Well, this is the goal that I set for myself every day. 5 contacts a day keeps leads coming my way. That's my mantra. 5 contacts a day keeps leads coming my way, and it is a minimum for me. And my husband can verify I do this every single day. If I'm making phone calls, it's 5 check marks in my planner that day, and I am not done until I've reached out to 5 people on my list or I've revisited with some prospects that I've met throughout the week. If we're out and about, he can tell you a funny story. I was actually late to an event one night because I had one last business card to give out. I put 5 business cards in my bag, and I don't go home until I've had 5 quality conversations with people. Now, I do recommend as you're talking to these people, don't just get phone number. I get email too, in case I have that conversation and they don't pick up the phone the next day. I go on Facebook, and in that little search bar, I'm giving you just a quick little tip. I search their email address, and I add them as a friend and just say, good to meet you. Looking forward to reconnecting. Nothing else. I don't blast them with links. I don't send them a bunch of information. I just say, looking forward to reconnecting. Because here's why. If they never again call me, they watch me, they become a part of my audience. I've had 3 people now join me a year later who watched me on Facebook, and it was funny. They said, I don't even remember how we met. And I was like, funny, I do. But they don't have a clue, but they will watch you. And why do I say email? If you search Sarah Robbins on Facebook, there's tons of Sarah Robbins. It's a common name. You'll even find a purple-haired professor. It's not me. But if you had my email address, you could easily find me. So that's a little tip for you. Always get their email address too. To add to your list too is Jackie Almer recommended, which is a great, great suggestion. So you heard about my odds. You heard about Jordan's odds. You heard from many leaders throughout the duration of this weekend. The question is, what are your odds? You don't know what they are until after you've succeeded. Are you willing to find them? If you've had thousands of conversations and you've done hundreds of presentations and you're not where you want to be, you can either quit and assume it doesn't work for you, but it magically works for other people in your company, or you can be happy for them and say, you know what? This is my own race. It's my own pace. I'm working through my own set of odds, and I will succeed. And you can sift, you can sort, you can look for your gold, and you will find them over time. I mean, heck, you guys, if a formerly shy teacher in her 20s out of Michigan with no experience, no money, no nothing, can do it, you can do it. I look at the impact that I had on those 25 little lives every single year. Super gratifying. Today, we have impact and influence on tens of thousands, someday hundreds of thousands, someday millions of lives. Not just with our team, but with these people that we're touching as we're traveling across the world, opening up these orphanages and doing those really great things. Was my journey easy? No. My president, she lovingly jokes all the time, although she's very serious, that I called her more than anyone else threatening to quit. It's true. I quit more than anybody else in my company. But it was so worth it. And what is success? It's getting up just one more time than when you fell, saying yes since the last time that you quit. It's so incredibly rewarding and life-changing. If you discipline your disappointments, leave them at the door, and you continue to pursue your dream. I want to leave you with a quick little bit of inspiration of people who did just that, and I want you to think today about what you're here for, what your plan and purpose for your life is. And I want to encourage you, truly, it is never too early, and it's never too late to start passionately pursuing your dreams. Thank you. And that is my wish for you. I love you guys. God bless you guys, and go for your gold. Thank you. Thank you.